welcome into Texans Today, everybody. I'm your host, Jeremy Chuggs, and on today's program, I'm going to break down someone who most people believe is the top candidate to get the Texans offensive coordinator position. We've broken down all the guys who've gotten interviews so far, but this guy might have a little edge on everybody else, and I'll tell you what that edge is in just a moment. If you looked at the thumbnail, you might have a little bit of a clue. But over the past week, I noticed I've been talking a lot about Chip Kelly. And I had this debate with everybody in the office because we were talking about Chip, and I was like, you know what? Chips. What's your favorite chips? Let me know down in the comment section. Get down there. What is your favorite chips to eat? I was talking with producer Cullen before. He said either sour cream and onion or kettle cooked. I absolutely love, I'm a sucker for jalapeno kettle chips, but my one, I think if I could only choose one chip to ever eat of all time, I think I'm going nacho cheese Doritos. I think I'm going El Clasico. Let me know down in the comment section, though. We've been talking so much about chips. I want to know, what is your favorite type of chip? Now, the reason why you clicked into this, not for the chip talk, but for the OC talk. And the Texans have brought in Nick Caley for an offensive coordinator interview, and many believe he is the top candidate to get the job. And let's see, who is Nick Caley? He's 42 years old, started coaching in 2005, and has worked for seven different college programs in his time coaching. His first NFL job was with the New England Patriots. He was a tight end coach in 2017 and then hired by the Rams in 2023 as their tight end coach. And everywhere he's been, obviously, working under guys with very high pedigree. He worked under Bill Belichick with the New England Patriots, and then now he's working under Sean McVay with the LA Rams. And obviously, working with tight ends, you're like, oh, it's a tight end coach. He was with Rob Gronkowski in his prime, and then look what he's done in LA with Tyler Higbee. He surpassed several franchise records and milestones in 2023, and he's kind of turned Higbee into an unknown to where I think a lot of people have Higbee now as a top 10 tight end in the NFL, if not a little bit higher on that list. He got injured this year, wasn't that same guy, but, I really do believe that Tyler Higbee really gained a lot from having Nick Caley in his corner and as his position coach. And I just wonder, because his, experience with tight ends, the Texans, they have a pretty decent stable of tight ends as well. And I wonder if he is hired for the Texans OC job. Could we see a resurgence in this tight end room with guys like Dalton Schultz, who did not have his best 2024 season? Also, can we see a breakout year for maybe a Cade Stover in year two? Maybe Brevin Jordan coming back from injury? All these things to consider with Nick Caley. And just some more background of, who is Nick Caley and, what are people saying about him that have worked with him before? This is from Sean McVay on him getting an OC job this offseason. He said, I know that's a possibility. He's a special coach. He's done a great job for us. I love everything this guy is about. And then this coming from the Athletic, Robert Mays on Nick Caley. This is what he had to say about him. When you leave a conversation with Nick, it's kind of like leaving a conversation with Sean McVay. So obviously the ties are there. He's worked with great coaches before. He's had a couple seasons working under a Sean McVay, which many regard as one of the top offensive minds in the entire NFL, up there with Kyle Shanahan and Andy Reid. So if this guy is a semblance of Sean McVay, yeah, I could be down for that. I mean, I could be okay with that. I am a little worried with his lack of experience, and that's kind of what got Bobby Slowik, I would say, sent out the door in Houston, because he's a very good offensive mind as well. Just his inexperience kind of bit him in the butt. I wonder if that's the case with Caley, but I think he might have a little bit more leeway and a little bit more connection than what people think. Coming up, the real reason why Nick Caley is the most likely candidate right now to get the Texans OC job out of the people that have been interviewed. There's been 4 people who have been interviewed for the OC job so far. I think Caley could be the most likely, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. But couldn't do today's show if it wasn't for our amazing sponsors over at Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy, folks. With over 10 million members and $1 billion of awarded winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 player stat projections and win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all year long on PrizePicks, and the big game is almost here, and it's now or never in Nolens. Don't miss out on the last football game of the season with PrizePicks, the best place to win cash while watching the big game. PrizePicks is also giving away a free pick for the big game. Wow, Patrick Mahomes will only need 1 yard in this game for a win. Hey, that's easy money right there. You pair him with another stat projection from, one of the other guys playing in the big game, and there you go. You can win some easy cash just like that. And you can also check out the promos tab to tail any of our super sweet Millie winners big game lineups. If you tail a lineup that goes 3 for 3, you can win a split of $1 million in promo funds. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Once again, use that code CLNX to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. So get started today with our friends over at PrizePicks. Run your game. Now, Caley is somewhat of a hot commodity, a hot name around the OC streets during this coaching cycle. He's a front runner for the Jets OC job, and he has also interviewed for the Bucs OC job. And I did find this nugget a little interesting. Mainly was a defensive coach with his years in college. Before coming to the NFL and being a tight ends coach, he worked mainly on the defensive side of the football and no play calling experience, but has worked under McVay and has also worked with Nick Caserio for the New England Patriots. And there's that connection that I kind of alluded to. He worked with Caserio in New England. And if I've learned anything in my life, it's all about who you know and the connections you have. And Caley, he has those connections with the Houston Texans. This could be very helpful for him when looking for a job, because if you already know the people at the top making the decisions, your foot's already in the door. You just got to convince those people that you're the right man for the job. And like I said, he's worked under Sean McVay with the Rams, so you have that somewhat connection with the Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, and DeMeco Ryans, that whole kind of coaching tree. He interviewed for the job, or the Texans OC job, back in 2023, actually. He didn't get the job, but he did interview for the job, was one of the final candidates for that position. And he also worked with Caserio in New England, and both guys graduated from John Carroll University. So they have those connections. They have those ties already. Caserio, I believe, really, really likes Nick Caley. And if I was guessing, Caserio's probably the one in the front office and the one inside the Texans organization pushing for Nick Caley to be the OC for the Houston Texans this coming season. I think that would be Nick Caserio's pick. I'm not saying he's going to get the job just because of his connections with Caserio, but I'm also not saying that. I mean, it surely doesn't hurt that he has those ties and he already has those connections with people inside the Texans organization. So, with all those things considered, the fact that he is a hot commodity, the fact that he is a top candidate, I mean, it's not just the Texans. He's interviewing for other OC jobs as well. Was widely considered to be the top candidate for the Jets until recent reports that they're going to go ahead and interview other people as well. But I do think that he is the top candidate as it stands right now to be the Texans OC next season. And my question is, the one thing I worry about with Nick Caley, how does he help CJ Stroud? How does that work out with his connection with the quarterback? Because I've said on plenty of my videos this past week, the new OC has to come in and has to be able to elevate CJ Stroud and take him to that next level. Do we think Nick Caley's that guy? I mean, has Sean McVay rubbed off on him enough to where he's kind of like helping these quarterbacks just like Sean McVay is in LA with, what we've seen with McVay and, Jared Goff, McVay and Matthew Stafford? Can some of that kind of rub on to CJ Stroud? I do wonder if that's the case. Also, the Rams, their offense very similar to the Texans because they both come from that same West Coast style, that Shanahan tree that both McVay and Kyle Shanahan run. So it wouldn't cause too much turnover within the Texans offense. I just really am wondering, is CJ Stroud okay with this? And does this take CJ Stroud to the next level? Now, that's all I got for you on today's show, folks. Make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications, because if there's breaking news, if there's a hire, if there's anything around the Houston Texans, I got you covered. And throughout the offseason, going into the NFL draft, free agency, trades, all of it, I got you covered. This is your one-stop shop for Texans news and rumors. So make sure you hit that sub button and make sure you turn on your notifications so you never miss a moment.